You must be kind of optimistic. I mean, it's looking at the polling this week, it does look as if Trump is more likely than not to be the next president. Unfortunately, Trump is a crazy person and incapable of sustaining any sort of focus or doing anything strategic or coherent. So, but nonetheless, some of this stuff is probably happening. You must. It's not like you're a voice in the wilderness anymore.
It is certainly heartening to see that the direction things are headed, especially in what I would say is the medium term. I think the challenge in the short term with Trump is I think there will surely be some very good things that he would do in office on some of these fronts. Which of those it is impossible to say. It's also possible he decides to just focus on a giant tax cut, right? And so,
well, that's what he did first time around. I mean, that's the other thing. No real. No, I mean, the immigration success to some extent was entirely COVID related. It really wasn't. He didn't put any real structural changes into the legislative system, and he didn't do anything to build his bloody wall. And we did get this massive tax cut, which will expire soon, right? It's going to expire next year. So that'll be an interesting moment, won't it? That'll be an early indicator. It always struck me that politically, allowing taxes to go up on the wealthy would be a very good thing for Trump. But he is sort of but he doesn't seem capable of having that dexterity to actually see that. I mean, I think Bannon at one point said, "No, put taxes up on the rich, lower them for the poor." That's the message you've got to put across.
Well, and you are seeing that, I think, in the Republican Party more broadly. I mean, even last week, Jason Smith, who's chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, responsible for tax policy, said, look, I don't know how much of the Trump tax cuts we're going to be able to extend. There are Republicans who don't support the corporate tax cut. And so why I say the medium term is where I think things are most encouraging is that, Trump for me is like an earthquake. He was obviously extremely disruptive. On one hand, one could say he was a disaster. On the other hand, there is value in showing what is poorly built and outdated and knocking it down. But he's not the builder. And the good news in that respect is that there is no sort of mini Trump who is coming next. I mean, you could imagine a world in which his protege had been his vice president in the first term and was on the ticket again and was going to be at the top of the ticket in 2028 and 2032. And it was just Trumpism as far as the eye could see. The reality is there is no Trumpism. There is just Trump. And if you look at what is coming up behind Trump, who is already really leading the ideas side of the party and will be leading the political side in the coming years, I always start with the younger senators, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Josh Hawley, Tom Cotton. All of them are on this page and pushing in this direction in a quite rigorous and thoughtful way on all of these questions, on globalization and tariffs, immigration, industrial policy. Cotton and Vance just co-introduced a new, I think, very important piece of legislation on building some of these non-college pathways. We haven't talked at all about labor unions, but that's another place where I think conservatives are encouragingly rethinking things. And so if that is what is coming for conservatives, then yes, I am indeed very optimistic.